Happy Chanukah, everyone. I want to share with you a modern-day Chanukah miracle that happened some time ago that I heard from the rabbi with whom it heard, Rabbi Moshe Brisky, the shliach of the Rebbe in Agura Hills. He tells the story that he showed up one day, drove up to his house on a Friday afternoon. He saw a moving truck moving in a new family onto the block. He goes over, he sees a man with his daughter, he introduces himself. He says, "Are you Jewish?" He says, "Yeah." He invites him over to his house for Shabbos. And the man accepted the invitation. They should enjoy a Shabbos together. To make the long story short, the man got close to the rabbi, started showing up to services, to programs, and then he showed up to a lecture that the rabbi gave on pain and suffering. After the lecture, he tells the rabbi, "I want to meet you in your office." They sit down. He says, "I have to tell you my story." He says, "I was married with 3 children. We had a beautiful life. And one day tragedy struck. 2 of my kids were killed in a car accident. I fell into terrible depression. My wife ended up divorcing me. She moved out with my surviving daughter, and I fell into even worse depression. I decided to end my life. Life was too difficult. The night before I was going to end it, I asked my ex-wife if I can take my daughter for one last evening. We decided to go to the movies, and we go to the movies in the Mountaindale Plaza in Simi Valley in California. I show up there, we drive up, and I hear strange sounds, the sound of music, Jewish music. And before I know it, I see there's a Chanukah menorah lit there with some rabbis dancing there. And the rabbi, before I even had a chant, the rabbi pulls me into the circle. I find myself dancing. It was surreal. Here I'm ending my life and I'm dancing on Chanukah. I didn't even realize it was Chanukah. And suddenly something just struck, something ignited in me, and I decided to give life a second chance. I went to the movies, we finished, and I did not end my life. I decided I'm going to make a new beginning. I'm going to move out of my house to a new neighborhood. And then I moved, and I asked God, please give me a sign that it's going to be successful. And here I am, I drive up to the moving truck brought us to the new house in Agura, and as we're moving in, you show up and you invite me for Shabbos. It couldn't be a better sign than that. So he's telling this to the rabbi. The rabbi is shocked. Rabbi says to him, "I got to tell you the rest of the story." He says, "I'm a shliach here. Every year we do public menorah lightings, and every year we add another place where we're going to do a public menorah lighting. And this year we decided Simi Valley, this past year." And he says, we called up the plaza, the Mountaindale Plaza, and we call up and say, "Could we put a menorah there?" The lady says, "Are you sure? Here?" He says, "Yeah, we're sure." "Are you sure, Rabbi?" "Yes." "You got it, you can bring it." We show up the last night of Chanukah, which was the night designated, and we were shocked. We realized why the lady asked us if we're sure. That whole plaza closed down. The only thing that was left was the movie theater. It was going out of business, and that was the last thing. We realized we spent thousands of dollars, all the sefers, all going to nothing. But we decided, we're there anyway. Let's set up the menorah, the latkes, the donuts, the whole thing. And we were hoping, maybe we'll get a few Jews that come into the movie theater. We'll get something going here. And that's what it was. He says to this Jack, that was the name of the man. He says, "Jack, I want you to know, I remember that night because I felt like such a failure. I was the one that pulled you into that circle." And he goes over to his bookcase. He pulls out a photo album. He says, "I have pictures of that night." And he shows him the picture. He says, "There you are, Jack, dancing with your daughter at this Chanukah lighting." And I'm going to put the picture over here so you can see it. The rabbi is, and Jack is listening to this. This is the rabbi that saved his life. And the rabbi tells him, "I came home that night and I told my wife what a failure this was, and there was no one there, and it was a closed down place." My friends, Jack went on, of course, started his new life. And a week ago, the rabbi gets a text from him. It's now 27 years later. He says, "My daughter got married. She had twins this past week. And I wanted to tell you that I feel like God gave me back my 2 children. Look at my life today. And look where it was 27 years ago in a stranded mall, almost ending my life. And there you were to save me. Rabbi, I love you." My dear friends, the menorah is lit every year on our windows. These lights in the public square, whether it's to the outside, to the window, and sometimes we don't know who's a passerby looking in, and maybe our lights are igniting a soul that is desperate for some life-saving treatment that only these candles can do. like it did 27 years ago in Simi Valley. My friends, we're saving lives with our menorahs, with our public menorah lightings. We think that sometimes they're a failure. We don't have enough people, this, that, and the other. It's not that we measure things. You could have 5 people and you had the most successful public menorah lighting. I want to invite you all to join us on Sunday night, of course, for a much bigger menorah lighting, of course. But the success is not measured that way. The success is measured who we affected, how many lives we saved with our beautiful candles. Continue to light them. You never know when you're being successful. You may never know. But believe me, these lights are saving lives. Shabbat Shalom and a happy Chanukah.